Hey guys, welcome to Heal, Survive, and Thrive. I have someone here that I never thought in a million years would actually come on camera or do a podcast, and that's my boyfriend, Jason. Jason is, what would you say your relationship with social media is? Pretty much just, I keep calling it Twitter. I don't even know what it is. What is it?
X.
See, so he loves X. You scroll on Instagram though too.
Yeah.
And we send each other memes and things that I find funny, but you don't laugh. And then you send me things that are just not funny. Why is that? I don't understand why that is.
It's male, female.
Humor?
Yeah.
Okay, well, whatever. Okay, so you guys, I wanted to bring him on because you guys over the years have asked us a lot of questions about our relationship and kind of like the things that we've gone through. So I thought, let's get uncomfortable.
Sure.
Let's talk about some stuff. So I compiled a list of questions that you guys asked on Instagram. So I'm like, you know what? I kind of organized it. So some people ask questions for me to answer and some people ask questions for you to answer.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
All right, we'll try.
And then of course, like the kids and our relationship. So let's start with
some easy ones.
Okay. How did we meet? We met in 2018.
Yes, winter.
Yeah, it was January actually. Actually, to be fair, and I don't know how I remember this, it was a couple days before my birthday. I think, connected.
Yeah, you swiped.
So here's the argument. He seems to think...
It was Bumble,
It was Bumble. Yeah. But you think that I saw you first, right?
Because, well, no, I think I had a swipe, but I think Bumble, you had to, the woman...
Well, yeah, the girl has to like you in order for you to match, basically.
Yeah, actually, so I think...
So you thought I swiped you first.
Yes, because when yeah.
Okay, we'll play that game and say that I swiped you first. See, I remember because I was so analyzing every single picture. I remember zooming in on your pictures being like, do I like that? This weird, look at his ear. Your ear's fine. But you know what I mean? I was just so hyper-focused on every little thing.
Yeah, I don't think... you were beautiful, obviously.
Aww.
No, I don't think it was I didn't get...
So the funny thing with this is when I did online dating, I never ever put in, because you could do it by radius of how many miles the person was away from you. And I always said, I do not want someone far away. And he was living, where were you living?
I was in New Hampshire at the time, a little over 2 hours away.
Okay.
But I was moving to...
And that's how we linked up. So we linked up because you were visiting.
Yeah.
And so that's how we actually connected.
But I was going to move to...
Right, but you weren't in the process of actually moving. Well, and you didn't know where you were going to kind of...
I didn't know the town, but I knew I was moving.
So the backstory, Jason was divorced. His ex-wife was moving down to the Boston area. So she was moving down here and you were going to move as well, but you didn't know where yet. So we link up and we connect and we started talking. I don't remember how long we were kind of doing the back and forth on the app thing.
It was a while.
It was a little while. I would say a couple weeks probably. We exchanged numbers and said we would FaceTime, right? Or did we talk on the phone first?
We talked on the phone.
We talked on the phone first, okay.
Briefly.
And then we started FaceTiming.
You had to see what I looked like.
Well, we couldn't go on a first date. We couldn't meet or do anything. So we had to see if the conversation was good, which it honestly was even from day one. You were always very easy to talk to.
You too.
I think because you were always nervous around me.
I don't know if it was nerves, just putting my best foot forward and being cautious.
Well, yeah.
Very
there you
cautious.
Go. Well, yeah, no, for sure. See, I wasn't at that place anymore because I'd been single for 4 years. So I don't know if I was being cautious around you. I was just examining people. I think I was still trying to look for red flags kind of a thing. This is how I actually knew. We would talk on the phone until 1, 2 in the morning. Maybe not 2, but definitely midnight, 1 o'clock. And it would be every single night. So he would be alone. I would have Ryan. I would put Ryan to bed and we would have our dates.
Our chats, yeah.
Our dates. And we were consistent. We did it pretty much almost every single night.
Yeah.
And then you started coming down here every other weekend to see me. And then the first time we actually saw each other, I remember because I kept thinking you were short. Some of the pictures in your profile, I don't know why I thought you were shorter than what you were. Because I never really asked you what was your height or what is your height? Because I feel like that's a weird question to ask. No? Is that a weird question to ask?
No.
No? All right. Not that I'm going to need it for future reference. So when I saw you, I was like, okay, he's tall. Like he's taller than me because you're 6, right? You're 6 feet.
But I mean, I'm not super tall, but yeah.
I mean,
You're
I'm
short.
5'1", so I mean,
short,
that's
yeah.
tall for me. So that was good. And then we went bowling we tried to go bowling.
Went to King's in the Seaport.
Yep. So we did that.
We got drinks and we didn't bowl.
We didn't even bowl, no.
We ended up going to...
Went to the Bell in Hand after. I was like, oh, you want to grab a drink after this? Because we were like done eating. We weren't going to bowl. I think it was like a Friday or Saturday night. So it was packed. He didn't have a reservation to reserve a lane. So we went to the Bell in Hand. We had drinks.
Yeah.
And then we just like flowed, I feel like.
When we left the first date, you immediately from the cab or the
that's
Uber
right.
texted me and was like, hey, do you want to get together tomorrow?
Afternoon and like have
Yeah,
lunch or
I was
whatever.
like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I knew I wasn't going to see you for like a while. So I was like, all right, let me get like more of how I actually feel because it's uncomfortable. I never ever liked dating.
I think the
you were
first
fine
date,
with it, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean,
do men get like crazy nervous the way girls do or women do?
I mean, I was a little nervous, but the first date was better than the second. I think nerves took over a little more on the second date for sure.
For me?
For both.
Yeah.
And we'd been up late.
I think you suggested a movie. So
it was Friday. We went on the first date. Saturday was the second. And I was going back on Sunday.
Yeah, and you were going back on Sunday. So Saturday we went to go see a movie, and then we had lunch and then saw the movie or whatever. And yeah, I think my nerves definitely got the best of me because we were in the movie, and I kid you not, I probably went to the bathroom like 4 times. And I didn't have to go. I was just like, my anxiety was taking over. And I was like, I need to get out of here just for a minute and like get a breather.
And I could tell that you were. But then
that's an anxious person's worst nightmare is that people actually are knowing that they're anxious.
And then I kind of like, I think I grabbed your hand, like I held your hand. Go. Well, I was like, well, and then I'm like, no, now I don't want to like pull away.
You're in it now. You're in it. You're committed.
And I could feel
his palms were so sweaty.
They started to sweat, and I'm like, oh no.
And it was cute though. You know what though? The best thing when you're on a date with someone is to see their humanness. Don't you think? Like, because then it kind of like takes a little bit of the pressure off, and you're like, oh look, I'm not actually a freak. So are you?
Yeah.
So that was
a robot.
That was it. And for actually a long time, we would only see each other.
And it wasn't even every other weekend. It was, I mean, we tried, but.
Yeah, we tried. But I also, with my schedule with Ryan, we couldn't even really see each other a ton when you were down because I didn't really feel comfortable just like throwing Ryan into the mix, obviously. So it took us a while. And then when you moved, that's when we kind of introduced Ryan to you. And then I met the boys. Jason's got 2 boys, 10 and 13. Ryan's 11. And then all 3 of them met. And you know what's so funny? I remember the day because you guys asked, like, you know, how was it like bringing all of you guys together and like the kids and stuff like that? Because they're so close in age, you know, and they all kind of like vibed in the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so young. So we never really had a problem on that. And they were all boys. I think if there was like one girl, she would have gotten like left out.
Yeah.
I will say that Ryan had, I think, a difficult time with me expressing love to your youngest.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, Trip
did not like that. Not Trip. Ryan did not like me hugging Trip or doing any of those kind of things. Or even hugging you in the beginning. He would do the whole, you know, coming kind of like in between us, try to like get me away.
Yeah, not as much as with Trip though. That was
that bugged him a little bit because he's an only child and he had never
like,
he never had to share. He never had to share. But I think we did a good job with blending them, and they all get along. They pretty much call each other brothers. I mean, they are.
They're like best buds for sure.
So to answer your question, that's how we kind of met. That's how we blended the kids together. And I mean, that was actually pretty easy. You guys asked me, was Jason as self-aware as you are?
No.
I mean, you were open to things that like, especially I talk about, more of like the spiritual, deeper inner self, because I can go very deep. And I feel like you can keep up with me.
Yeah.
There aren't a lot of people that can. Like you went to go see Eckhart Tolle with me, and I think you vibed with that.
Yeah. But it was interesting.
But you're open to it.
Yeah, definitely.
So I definitely think you're self-aware, and I think
I meant more, I'm self-aware, but not as deep as you for sure, as what, like when you bring up topics. I'm like, yeah, I never really thought about that.
I do think that you are self-aware, and I think that we are very aware of each other's stuff. Like, all right, I'm going to put you on the spot, and by all means, you can just say it. I really don't care because I know it. What do you think is like that? I don't want to say worst trait, but what is that thing for me?
I think,
like when we're kind of,
I think it's you don't have a lot of patience. I think that's probably the big thing. You want things now, and if things aren't quite right, you want them fixed ASAP. And
like trying to even just set up this podcast.
Yeah.
Like I had to rip off my shoes, my slippers, because I was like sweating. Because I'm like, this is ridiculous. Just trying to set this up. No, I don't have patience. So yeah, I do want, like, I'm quick and I want instant, and not everyone thinks like that. And you are not like that. You are very like thoughtful and slow. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but like you think before you do.
A little more methodical.
There you go.
Logical.
That's what I wanted to say. So yours, I think, where do I begin? I'm just kidding. No, I think with you, and you have come such a long way with this, because you can just get defensive. You do. Like you take on what someone says, and you take it like personally, but you are really quick to like come back and recognize that I'm not saying it maliciously or in a mean way. Like, it's coming from love, or so that is self-awareness. I mean, you can definitely take a step back and be like, oh, I can see that. See, now that's something that I think is different in this relationship to any other relationship that I've been in. Is I definitely didn't have that much self-awareness. I just didn't know how to handle myself when I felt uncomfortable. What about you?
Like in
like past relationships?
My past,
like, would you shut down, or how would you handle confrontation?
I don't think there was a lot of direct. You're much more direct, and if you want something or something isn't how you would like it to be, you'll say it.
Yeah.
You do not beat around the bush, and you're direct. In a good way. Sometimes it could be a little more tactful, but you. So yeah, and I know in my last marriage, it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
And I think that is what happens too. It's good, but it's definitely an adjustment for me to, like, why are you could look at it as like, we're like an argument, but I think it's just communicating. You're telling me what you would like, and you're putting your cards on the table, so it doesn't build up and turn into something that.
But it's so weird though, because everyone thinks they're good communicators.
Yeah.
But I know for me, in the past, I've always been hyper independent. So to let someone actually help was not like in my vocabulary. So it wasn't that but then I would become resentful if someone didn't help.
Right.
So I wasn't trying to do that. I was just unaware that I was just hyper independent.
Mm-hmm.
What attracted you the most to him? You are very gentle. You are a really good combination of like gentle, supportive, masculine. Like, you don't go too far on either side. You had a very good in the middle. I don't feel like you were intimidated by me. You were very easy to talk to, and you actually were vulnerable. Like, you could tell me, your fears, your worries, your insecurities. It wasn't just, everything's fine, everything's fine.
Yeah, I try to be balanced, as balanced as possible.
And you are sensitive.
Yeah.
You are, which I love that, because I am too. And only, I think another sensitive person could understand that walking around the mall all day for me is absolutely exhausting.
Well, but
draining.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you don't understand it, but you empathize with it.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
very much.
Part of my defensive-ness is part of that.
What do you mean?
I'm sensitive.
Sensitive. Oh,
because so I put up someone. I feel, I don't know why that is too.
That's just because of so many factors.
Yeah.
How you're raised, environment, not knowing how to take care of yourself emotionally and mentally, like all the shit that I talk about is what that is. Which leads into, thank you, Annie, which leads to the next question. Does he ever freak out because of what you do?
No, I don't I mean, early on,
Like early on, were you
I-
like, my God, she wants to talk again?
I think early on, just getting to really understand kind of what you do and watching some of your videos, I was like, oh, is it gonna be like super analyzing and,
I mean, it kind of is.
yeah, I mean, it can be, but no, it doesn't, not at all.
I don't like sweeping things under the rug. Like
It's,
I can't do
no.
it.
Yeah, and that's
I need to
address
talk about it, but I need that respect that you can at least hear me and see it, even though
Mhm.
you don't agree with it,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is something never got, because it was always, no, you need to see me. And then there was like manipulation and gaslighting that was like, so then I'm thinking, I guess I'm wrong for feeling this when I actually wasn't.
Yeah.
These are things that both of us can answer. What are your thoughts on date nights, and is it something that you look forward to? No. I mean, who asked that?
Yeah, of course. So yeah, in our situation, we have, time where
Yes.
we do get to spend.
I call it built-in babysitters.
Yeah, but we would give that up in a second if we could have the kids.
Here's the thing though, is because like we're the only divorced people, all the people that from like your friend group, and mine too.
For the most part.
For the most part, yeah. They don't, they also don't make time for themselves because
Yeah.
they're always with their kids and they don't have the built-in babysitter like we do. So as much as like I hate when the kids aren't with us, like they're not with us right now and we have all of today to ourselves. On the flip side, I know that married couples are like, I wish I had a little of that too, So I think it's kind of like,
It's
pros and
much easier
cons.
for us to, do our own thing and not have to have the help to
like
babysit. And
we went to Florida a couple weeks ago because the kids were on February vacation and we got to go away on a little trip. So we're going to be transparent for a second. The first year that we were dating, so we met in January, he moved here in July. I was very gung-ho with, I don't want to be with you all the time. Like I liked my alone time. I liked my space. I liked the nights when Ryan went with his dad because it was about me. So then he moves here in July. And I think from July till February of the next year, we broke up probably 7 times. No, maybe like 6.
no, it wasn't that much.
4? I mean, that was quite a bit. What do you think that was about?
I mean, I think for myself, I think it was, I still had stuff from the divorce that I hadn't worked through and we were still going through court and
Yeah.
it was a hard time and moved again to.
Yeah. You moved a lot. I mean, you left like your
Because-
parents, your hometown
Yeah.
essentially to come down here. So yeah, you had a lot of transitions.
And I had been so hurt that I felt if I sensed any kind of push from you, that I was like, well, I'm not gonna deal with it. This is not gonna happen to me again, or so.
Which is so funny
I'm
because
not gonna.
we didn't really we don't fight.
No, we don't.
Like we have disagreements for sure,
Oh
absolutely.
yeah,
I'd say in 7 years of being together, I can count on one hand the amount of like big-ish ones, and they weren't even as big as I've had in the past, for sure. Or those like difficult conversations was, I don't know, I think we both had stuff that we were like working through. Luckily, we just came back. I felt like it was just very comfortable. It was very easy, very, very easy. How would you define when you know? How do you know? Like,
yeah. I mean, I think it's different for everyone, but to me, it's like comfortability and knowing that, experiencing some kind of, some tough talk and to kind of work through it. And so you can see the full, like, okay, this is how it would be. If you're not, in my past, I've had there was none of that. It was just, then it would build up and then it,
yeah.
So I think, I don't know.
See, mine was different because mine was picking at me for me to admit that I was wrong, to say I'm sorry. Like the I'm sorry was like constant for me. All I need you to do is say sorry. All I need you to do is say sorry. Or making me feel like what I wanted was wrong. I mean, the gaslighting was on like another level. I can't even tell you. So, but that's neither here nor there. How do you both know that you want to be with each other? You are very empathetic. You are supportive. You are, oh my God, I might cry. No, I won't. I can hold
Pull
it
it
in. I can
together.
pull it together. You're just my biggest cheerleader. You really are. You really are. Oh, I just love you. You are. The times when, oh God, you guys, a couple years ago, I had the worst panic attacks and anxiety because it was like COVID, hormones, and you just going through, oh my God, I'm gonna cry. Going through that, going through that, I think made me actually think or feel, not that I didn't feel that I could be with you for the rest of my life, that not at all, but
Oh.
all right, and we're back. Woo! That one just creeped up on me. All right, go ahead.
Where were we?
How do you both know that you want to be with each other?
Well,
Let it out. This is therapy.
you are so caring and so thoughtful. You're always there for me. You are amazing to the kids, and I couldn't imagine my life without you.
Is
And
this
like
what
you
you're
said,
gonna
I
say
mean,
when you propose?
Yeah, you've helped me so much.
Yeah.
And
Same. You definitely need to be healed somewhat before you can get into another relationship. I felt like I was ready for you because the things that you bring to the table were the things that I really valued, because those were the things that I didn't get prior.
It's funny. One of the traits that you are so direct and you know what you want, and sometimes I look at that as, it's so refreshing to actually, if something is not going right in the relationship or you think there's some issue or whatever, you'll bring it up. And I don't think I've ever really
I need a solution. Who you are, I wholeheartedly respect and I value what it is that you do bring to the table, that our stuff doesn't get to World War III.
No.
We'll end with the future. What are the plans for the future? Marriage, moving in, child. No.
No children.
No. I mean, I'm 44. You're about to be what? Tell the world.
I'm 47.
You're about to be 48. So no, kids are not. We have Annie.
Yeah.
Who pees on the couch. So there you go. That's our future. I mean, we will get married someday. Does that freak you out? Like, we've talked about it. We're not.
It's funny. Early on, I can remember early talking. I was always like, yeah, of course, I'd get married again.
You immediately were like, yes, I would definitely get married again for sure. I would be open to it now. And I think I can only say that because of after going through that stuff when I had COVID, because when you're sick or you're not well, it kind of like shows you like, oh, look, this is how you would show up for me. You wouldn't like leave. So I think that was what I needed to go through to like really trust you.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Yeah, we will. We will for sure. This will be the house that we grow old in.
Yeah.
And we're going to be somewhere warm because I'm not dealing with this when we're 80.
No.
That's for sure.
At least for a part of the year, for sure.
Yeah. Do you think I was like hyper independent when you first met me? Like, do you see a difference between that person and
Definitely.
today?
Yeah.
Would you say I'm soft now?
You have softened up. I've chiseled away that hard exterior.
I will say, I think a strong man will see that and be able to do that.
You went from saying, she basically said, yeah, I want my alone time.
Yeah,
because when you were, because you...
Did you take it personally?
Yeah, I was like, well, what do you mean? Like, and I was totally fine because we were living apart, so it's easy. I could go play golf and I could do my thing, whatever.
Yeah.
But it was like what does that mean? And now it's different. Say, you would not want to be...
I would much rather you be here.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. That's because I trust you.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what it was. And you've been single for so long, and you had your whole, you were in a rhythm of, I think, comfort in like a routine. So it's hard to like, oh, now we're gonna throw a new guy with kids, and how's this gonna work? And we're not living together, so it's a lot.
It was a lot in the beginning for me, going from 1 kid to 3 because, sorry, but it's just different for women. Not that I needed to be mom, but
You were
I
super
was mom.
attentive, and you were
I can't not
always,
be mom.
and
Like, I don't know how to
you know,
do that.
as we brought the kids more into it, you know, they would go to you.
They still go to me.
Yeah, I mean, they'll
Constantly.
walk right by me and just
They
be
walk
like, "Hey, Steph,
right
can I do?"
by, Jack walked right by your office
Yeah.
and came upstairs and asked me a question. Can I order, what was it? Crumble. Can I order crumble? And I'm like, you just walked past your father. Why didn't you ask him? Well, I think because I know you would say yes. And I'm like, me? You think I'm the one that's going to say
Yeah, no,
yes?
I'm
Like,
the
your
one
father
that's-
gives you everything.
yeah.
I'm the one with boundaries.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was a lot for me in the beginning. And I think it was, especially because they were so young. So I think I needed that like break. Like you said, I was very content with my life. I genuinely enjoyed my life the way it was. So I didn't rush into putting you in my life right away. And I think that's healthy. You can only really find a great person when you're okay with being alone. And I was okay with being alone at that point. All right, you guys, thanks so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed getting to know Jason. I know this took a lot for you to do this. I'm very proud of you, actually. You are not this kind of person.
No.
I said, you know what? If this doesn't go well, we'll just use the audio and just call it a day. But
And I'm going to listen to the edit.
You're going to help with the editing?
Yeah.
All right, you guys, take care. I'll see you in the next episode.